always comes to an abrupt end. What's
Hey.
going on, everybody? Welcome to the Reload Show. How's it going, fellas?
What's up? Gotta fix my
Well,
camera. It's bad.
Yes, please do. Welcome to the Reload Show. We are live, episode 35, I think it was. Is that what we decided?
Yes, and counting.
Perfect. Hey, still going strong. I am Candido Diaz along with Sean Richard and Mark Sullivan. Fellas, how was your holiday week?
Hey, it was great for me. I did exactly what I told you I was going to be doing. We spent about 3 days out on the boat. We had a couple 4th of July parties that we went to. We definitely had some hot dogs, talked about some homes, things like that. What about you, Sean?
Man, it was good. A July 3rd celebration every year. There's a city here locally that does a nice little presentation. So we hit that up. Man, we went and saw Despicable Me 4 with the kids on July 4th. So we got a little bit of Gru time in. It was good. It was fun. And then we had a relaxing weekend. Candido, what did you do? Did you ever just go everywhere, talk about, hot dogs and homes?
Yes, mostly homes and then a little hot dogs. But it was awesome. My daughter, her birthday is July 3rd, my oldest. So It was pretty much a birthday celebration throughout. We unfortunately did not see Despicable Me 4. Instead, we opted for Inside Out 2. And I have to say, it was pretty damn good. It was funny.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, my son saw Inside Out 2 twice in consecutive days.
Wow, that's dedication.
It's dedication. But it was overall good 4th for everybody. Seems like it.
Yeah.
Honestly, one of the better 4th of Julys that I've had in recent memory is right outside of Dallas, Texas. Do you know where Granbury is?
Granbury?
Yeah.
Grand Prairie?
Where's Granbury? Granbury. Yeah.
Granbury? Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good one. That was about 3 years ago, my brother's birthday. Anyway. Let's do wins and losses.
I like it.
Let's do it.
All right.
Mark, you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. Mark. Sure. I'm going to stick with wins. Not a whole lot of losses. Hard to have losses on a 4-day weekend that we just had. But wins, honestly, more phone calls, more conversations. I know that sounds like an extremely complex code to get more applications, but literally made phone calls this morning, got 2 applications. Of one person wanting to refinance and one person that introduced me to somebody who I immediately talked to and took an application for buying a house. So, maybe I may have just found a secret passcode to get mortgage applications. Apparently you just have to make phone calls and talk to people. Weird.
Yeah, more activities usually result in more wins and more results.
Weird, I know. I know.
Crazy.
I'll go next. So losses. So tell me if this has ever happened to you guys. So Saturday, I took some time away from the family, from the holiday weekend to update a pre-approval, right? Not a huge deal. Didn't take me a ton of time, but kind of grinding my gears a little bit because the offer wasn't actually made until Monday morning. So it's just kind of one of those things in real estate. I take that as a loss because I definitely took time out of my day to go ahead and get that updated, but it is what it is. It's with a new agent that I haven't worked with before. So I'm going to kind of pipe that as a loss. Win. So my win was I was actually scrolling through social media and found a potential house for a client for a private sale, and I sent it over to him right away. I think he might be interested. So kind of cool. Social media is more than just, funny memes and inappropriate stuff. But so I found that to be pretty good and, family time. took quite a bit of family time over these last, however many days of the holiday. It was awesome. So, Sean,
Very
Awesome.
cool.
I-
Very cool. So I'm gonna start with my my shitty moment of the week here with the losses, and really it was more of an aggregate of little things. So over the last probably 3 days, one of my pool pumps went out. I had a landscaper come out and said I probably need about $20,000 worth of work in my backyard. On top of that, my sprinkler system stopped working, which hence the dying bushes, hence the lots of landscaping work in my backyard. And so all of that was literally in the last 3 days. And so I've just been getting smacked in the face with all kinds of less than ideal news. So that's my losses for the week. But I'm gonna shift my mindset, focus on the wins. You know, I had a couple of different really good wins. So I've been leveraging more social media in my business, both from a content perspective, but also just really engaging with really cool people online. And so with this, I was able to, through this social media strategy / just more involvement and more engagement, I was able to set up a meeting today with an awesome real estate agent, meeting later today. And I'm excited. This was totally through social media. So it's social media, like you mentioned, Candido, not just funny memes and videos, although there's plenty of that to get lost in. But really excited to connect with this agent today, learn about them, and hopefully can understand how, you know, my team and I can help them achieve their goals and make their business a little bit easier. But all of that came through just connecting via social media. And so, the strategy that I've started to leverage to build more relationships, both online and offline, coming in fruitful. So that's been good.
dare I say you have to get social on social media?
Got to get social on social media. Absolutely. All right. Candido, man, dude, tell us about today. What are we even talking about today?
Yeah, so we are talking about niching down, niche down.
Niche.
Anyways, finding your ideal audience, your target audience. So, fellas, I'm going to start this off by asking you a few questions. I didn't prepare you guys for this, so Sean, you have to keep this 5 words or less. It might be tough.
That's
but
never happened.
Sorry.
I don't know.
All right. So what I want you guys to do, either 1 to 2 target audiences. If you had to just pick out of the blue, what would you say your targets are in 5 words or less for each of them? Go.
Mark, you're up.
Okay. I would say divorcing clients and first-time home buyers.
Okay. Sean?
Okay. Young, affluent buyers who value guidance.
Oh man, you still couldn't do it.
Failed.
We won't count the who.
Young, affluent buyers who value guidance.
Okay. So that's pretty good. Yeah, I would also say first-time home buyers. Okay. Now we have to get more, targeted, right? So what I find is it's a lot easier once you actually create that ideal avatar. So what I mean is we have to really start to kind of break this down. So I look at, there's a couple different targets that I'm going after. But most of the time, I like to try and work with preferably people like me. So what I'm looking for, and what I've done is I've created these people that I'm always talking to. Right when I'm sitting on my daughter's picnic table and talking to the camera, I am talking to Johnny and Maria. Now, who are Johnny and Maria? They are about in their upper 30s. They have a couple kids. Johnny's a proud girl dad and really into sports. Maria is a badass businesswoman. And so it kind of makes it a little bit easier for me to market. And once I know exactly who I'm talking to. So Mark, you had said divorcees and first-time home buyers. So can you get a little bit more specific in who your ideal client is and how you can reach them?
With the first one, no. My ideal client is somebody who is going through a divorce
Okay.
and needs an expert in how to navigate that through real estate. And I've got a special certification, a CDLP certification that goes along with that. I do marketing with it, but that is a specific niche, right? That's about as niche down as like, obviously you could niche down further, but I wouldn't recommend it, right? But first-time home buyers, sure. If I wanted to stick with first-time home buyers being my second answer, kind of regretting that now because that is kind of broad. But
You could break it down.
Yeah, for sure, and it would be just like you just did, right? It would be somebody that's 29 to 34, either planning to marry or just married, new family, yada yada yada, is the target, is that niche, right? But that's how that would break down further, for sure.
Okay. And Sean, how about you?
Yeah, and I think it's really important to point out, we're talking about, niching down and finding your ideal client or your avatar, some people might call it. And when we talk about this, though, like if you're a real estate agent, if you're a loan officer out there, this obviously doesn't mean that, these are the only clients that you want, right? Like this is your target audience that maybe it's who you work best with. Maybe it's who you finds you the most valuable. But just because this is our target audience, obviously we're not turning away business from other people, but we want to speak to the people we want to attract as many of the people that we work well with as possible. And so when I say, young, affluent home buyers that value guidance, really what I'm looking at is, a young individual or couple that is typically going to be a professional in a professional industry, maybe somewhere between 24 and 36 years old, that is, somewhat established at this point, right? They're a little bit more affluent. They're not just in their maybe first year of a career. They're a few years in, they're starting to make pretty good money, and they value the guidance, the advice. These are the same type of clients that are going to get a little bit older and they're going to seek out a financial advisor because they value having people around them that are smarter than they are, that can guide them in the various financial waters that they need to navigate. And so I love being an advisor for those people when it comes to their homeownership journey, not just their primary residence, but their second home, vacation home, they're building an investment or rental empire. Those are the clients that I work best with because we're able to have very high level conversations about finance as it relates to housing. And I speak their language, they speak mine, and they understand that language. And so, that young, financially savvy, affluent home buyer, individual or couple is really who I work best with. So when I'm creating content when I'm doing any kind of sales and marketing activities, I'm going to be the most impactful when I'm focused on delivering content or delivering resources, tools that cater to that. The idea is to attract that ideal client. And then obviously other clients will just come along, right? Like other people will just naturally come along, and that's fantastic. And we obviously are going to help them as well. But the more ideal client that I can work with, the easier my business is, because I'm not having to break through the the communication barrier of the way that I typically communicate or that I best communicate doesn't necessarily align with the way that other individuals receive information. I want to work with the people that I align best with.
Yeah, that was really well said. I think the whole point of this is really to try and figure out, you want to really narrow down. Okay, just like you guys have both said, we're not looking to turn away business from anyone, right? But it is nice to, well, almost anyone. But I truly think that once you have identified the target audience that you really want to be able to reach, that's when your marketing and everything around that, your message, can really be refined, and you can just get better at that. So
Candido, hey,
go ahead,
so
Sean.
I'm going to interject for a second because I want to hear
Yeah.
I want to hear a real world example. So you talked about your ideal client, right? So what does, based on the ideal client that you explained, that you spelled out, what does your content, your marketing, like how do you approach that to cater to that ideal client that you talked about?
Yeah, so it kind of exactly what I was saying. Basically, I name my people just because I'm neurotic like that. But Johnny and Maria, they have a couple of kids, and so we can easily relate back and forth together, right? It's easy for me to be able to relate to someone like that because that's essentially who I am. And my marketing is kind of based around that, right? I could share funny things about being a parent, or hey, this new restaurant in town is opening up. All of these things that I'm doing in reaching out to people, or as far as my marketing is concerned, it all has that general same idea in mind. And once I started to really figure out, hey, you know what? I love working with this group, this group, this group, and this group, but I relate best to, Johnny and Maria. That's when I think my content and my marketing started to shift for the better. So that's kind of my line of thinking and how I go about it.
Okay. No, I like that. I like that. Well, a couple of notes. So some of you out there, again, whether you're a real estate agent or a loan officer, may be thinking that, okay, well, I don't have, I don't feel like I've identified, my ideal client, or maybe you're just not sure how to identify your ideal client. So let me get you guys' take on this. So, two ways in my mind to easily identify your ideal client. So number one is obviously using your past experiences. So look back over the last, 6, 12, 20 transactions that you've done, 20, buy or sell side on the agent side, and then obviously, purchases or refinances on the lender side. Look back over those transactions and identify, okay, and
Identify.
then start to identify, okay, how many of these people met that criteria, and then what are the commonalities? What am I seeing in common with all these people? And that's going to start to whittle down, okay, what characteristics am I looking for my ideal client? Number two is, I think, leveraging ChatGPT and, telling ChatGPT, providing it a prompt, say, hey, act as a expert business coach, tell Chat 20 questions to help me identify my ideal client. And then, it'll ask you 20 questions. You answer the questions. It can help you dive down into who your ideal client is. Looks like I may be having some video issues. So I'll pass it off to Mark and Candido now.
Mark, you're muted.
We actually heard you the entire time, but you are 100% stuck in whatever form you were when that happened. So
okay.
I'll give you a thumbs up or something if all of a sudden you don't look like this. Anyway, these were all really great things. I just staying on the same topic of identifying who your ideal audience is. Honestly, if you haven't done that yet, just a real harsh statement. If you haven't done that yet, you haven't put a lot of thought into your business. So get to it. That's something that you should be thinking about. But if you're still trying to identify that, if you're new, maybe you haven't thought about that before in the past, whatever. Honestly, the easiest thing to identify is to identify yourself, right? Is just to lay out who you are, right? Because most likely that's a large majority of your friend group is a description of yourself, and a large amount of people that you can relate to very quickly and very easily is a mirror image of yourself. So you can start with that for sure. And then go to, we lost them all together, and then go to jobs that you once had before. One thing that's a really easy transition, and what a lot of real estate agents and a lot of loan officers that I know, myself included, got started by doing loans for people in the restaurant industry. That's the industry that I came from. And I know that industry inside and out. So I targeted my marketing when I first started. I targeted my marketing directly at restaurant industry people, teaching them the why they should buy a home, and then teaching them how they go about doing it. And I closed a lot of loans in the first 4 years just in the restaurant industry because it's something that I know. And that's something you can do as well. Take your hobbies, take your passions, take your past life experiences, and put that into a person and market to them. So that's another way to niche down your ideal target audience as well. Welcome back, Sean.
Well said.
Glad to be back.
Well said, Mark. So I think that was that's pretty much about it. Do you guys have any kind of parting thoughts as we wrap this episode up?
I would just say that it's the reason this is so important for our businesses is because we all work best with the people that we get along with the best, the people that align with our mindsets, our thought process, the way that we help educate. And so we're here to help as many as we can, whether they meet that target audience or not. But if we can really start attracting those individuals, those couples that fall into our target audience, business becomes so much simpler. And that's why this is so important.
Love that. Mark?
Yeah. It's, I guess, just piggybacking off of what I kind of just got done saying, but I guess adding to it is identifying people that you want to work with, identifying people that you would interact with in a strong way makes the business more fun. Go back to a topic that I always say over and over and over again. Do this business your way. Because if not, you're not going to have as much fun and you're not going to enjoy it. You have fun, enjoy it, and you'll be more successful in the business because you're doing it your way and you're doing things that you want to do. So let's go talk to people we want to talk to, and let's do business with clients and prospects that we want to do business with.
Love it. Love it. Just remember, niches get riches.
Stitches. Oh, wait.
No,
that's another one, Mark. That's another one.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Remember, each and every Tuesday, we are here live, 12 Eastern, 11 Central, and whatever else throughout the United States. We thank you for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
See ya.